What's going on, everybody? Eric Bourassa here, and I want to share with you the 6 things that I got wrong about pro guitar gigging. This is going to be a lot of fun, and so if you are getting ready to start gigging yourself, you're looking to become a professional guitar player, these are the 6 things that I was kind of not ready for, and I hope to prepare you so that you don't have to go through the same things I did. All right, so let's kick it off. I'm going to use my little notebook, my handy dandy notebook here. So number 1, all your gear is useless. I spent like a decade just amassing gear where I was not really gigging. I was taking care of my family and my music school, taking care of my business, and between those 2 things, I would have enough time to practice, but I wasn't making gigging a focus. So during that time, I would be like, ooh, someday I'm gonna need this amp, I'm gonna need this guitar, and what ended up happening is almost none of that was needed. So here's some examples. Let me give you a quick tour of the gear I don't need. So here's my closet full of guitars. I need like maybe 2 of those. Let's see, here's another guitar, and actually my favorite gig bag. Here's another guitar. Here's the practice amp in my room. Let's go to the other places. Okay, more guitars. And then just a few more hiding in this corner that nobody knows about. Okay, now this I actually do need. This was a recommendation from Greg Howe. $1,800 amp I don't need. This amp I actually use a whole lot, and I do record with this, but for gigging, and then of course, definitely don't need that for gigging. And then my oversized Mesa 212 cab, don't need that. I'll never need it. And then your pedal board, you have too many pedals on it and too many weird fun pedals when really you're just gonna need the staples most of the time. You don't need 15 guitars. And so all of the things that I thought I needed before I started playing out, none of them were important. And I ended up actually having to get a bunch of new gear when I started gigging. So for instance, my quad Cortex, which I've basically never talked about on my channel. I've had it for a little over a year, and now that I'm comfortable with it finally, I think I might actually do a video on this and how I use it. But essentially, this is my most important piece of gear that I own now because I use it for bass gigs, and I use it for guitar gigs. So this is my entire rig, and it's my pedal board. So yes, do I like my Greg Howe signature distortion pedal? Yes, absolutely. Do I want to take it with me to a gig? No. So the drives and the distortions that are in the quad Cortex, they get the job done. Is it exactly the sound I want? Not always. When you're playing live, it's like you just need to be close enough to the sound that you need to get. I don't take an amp and I don't take a pedal board, but then also with my guitars, really what you need are 2 dependable guitars for whatever style you're playing. So if you're doing like country, you're probably gonna want a telly and a backup telly. If you're doing pop, maybe a couple of tellies as well. And then for rock, maybe also a couple of tellies. Like if I had to now, I would probably just have a couple tellies. The other most important piece of gear I've had to buy are in-ear monitors. So this is better for being able to get a personal mix and being able to hear the rest of the band and hear yourself without there being a whole bunch of stage noise. Getting a good set of in-ear monitors is going to be really important. And I just have the Shure, like not the lowest level one, but like the next step up. So you get something with at least 2 drivers in it. I don't even know what that means. All right, so you need basically some kind of a floor unit like the quad Cortex. And there's several others out there, right? You have the Helix and you have the Fender Tone Master and the Axe effects, right? But you need something like that to replace your pedal board as well as your amps. You're gonna need 2 dependable electric guitars for whatever style you are playing in. If you're doing acoustic, then you probably just need the one acoustic. But if you're doing electric, probably bring two. And then for bass, you can typically get away with just bringing one bass. That's my whole rig. And by the way, if you are looking for extra help with your guitar playing, check out my main website, unlimitedguitar.com. I've got a 90-day guitar transformation program. It's awesome. We meet once a week, and then you also send me videos of your playing throughout the week, and I send you a video response of what I think you're doing great and what I think you can work on next. And you get access to all of my lesson material that's designed to take you from beginner to the late intermediate stages of your guitar playing to the beginning of the advanced stages. So yeah, check it out, unlimitedguitar.com. All right, so the second thing that I was wrong about pro guitar gigging is that you will be bad live. When you first start playing live, if you've never done it before, you will be bad, okay? Even if you have spent years honing your craft in your basement, in your subterranean dwelling, as soon as you hit the stage, you've got the lights, you've got the noise, you've got all the rest of the band. You have so many variables that you have to think about that you don't think about in the comfort of your own space, that your skill level is just automatically going to drop. So if at home you can play here, live, you're going to be like here. So what my classical guitar teacher taught me in college, shout out to Rob Lunn, when I was preparing for a guitar recital, if I had to perform a piece here, then I needed to be able to play it here. So like, let's say it's 100 beats per minute, whatever this song is. I should be able to play that piece at 120 beats per minute without breaking a sweat, so that when I need to play it at 100, and I've played it over and over and over like the back of my hand, I'm still able to play it there. When my nerves kick in and my talent level drops on stage, I'm exactly where I need to be. So you need to over prepare for your shows, and you need to do it a lot. Just be prepared to not sound great for a while. Even if your band is seasoned musicians and you guys have all played a lot of live shows, it takes some time for the band to gel and really come together and get a tight act happening. So preparing for playing live, I usually spend anywhere from 2 to 4 weeks preparing for the gig. If there's like 15 songs roughly, and I've never played them before, I'm probably putting in about 50 hours of prep time. So like 3 to 5 hours a day, usually for those 2 to 4 weeks. I make sure that I have everything down before that last week. So in that final week, I am simply just running them over and over again and starting to get bored with the songs. When you start to get bored playing them at home, now you're almost ready to play live, so that when you're playing live, it's so automatic, you don't have to think about it. You're able to think about all the other variables that are happening and just let your hands work from muscle memory. All right, the third thing I was not ready for when I started gigging is that something is going to go wrong at every show. Every time, like no matter what. So I made a little list here of some of the things I've had go wrong. Gear not working, the sound guy doesn't show up, the venue forgot you were playing, or that you show up as a band and they thought it was a solo act, payment issues, if the venue doesn't want to pay or things are just not what was agreed to. You show up and they don't have stage monitors. You can't use stage monitors. You can only use in-ears. So you got to be ready for both. You got to be ready to use stage monitors or in-ears for monitoring. A flat tire, car issues. This is going to happen. Or you have a band member that's late or no show, okay? Or like one time I was playing a show in a Fleetwood Mac tribute band, and we had so many issues just trying to get into the venue because of all the security around the Cowboys Stadium, AT&T Stadium. that where we were playing, we couldn't even get into. So by the time we did our sound check, we had about 30 seconds. And then they were just like, hey, sound check is done. Nobody move. We're gonna open up the walls and the audience is going to be there and you guys are going to go. So we had expected to have like an hour of downtime to eat and relax before the show. And instead, man, we just had to go for it. All right. The fourth thing I got wrong about being a pro gigging musician is I thought if the songs were good, people would care. But the reality is nobody cares about your little band, right? You got friends and family that say that to you, your little band. Nobody cares. And you just have to go into each show ready to give your best and assume that no one's listening. No one gives two rips about the music you guys are doing, and go in with that expectation and just give a great show no matter what. And over time, that audience starts to build and that name recognition starts to come. But you just have to plug along without anybody caring at all for a long time. All right, the fifth important thing you need to know about pro gigging as a guitar player is you will almost always hate the sound of your personal mix. And even when I get the mix how I think it is, it's still not good enough, right? It's never going to sound like record quality in your ears. It's not going to be perfect. There's going to be something you wish you could hear more of or something you wish you could hear less of, and you can tweak it all day long. If you've got your own in-ear monitoring system, you can sit there and tweak with it. But if you've got a sound guy who's running it, then you really can't, and you need to make sure that you're okay. Different rooms are going to sound different. Different nights are going to sound different, and you just have to be able to adapt to, you may not be able to hear your guitar as well as normal, or your guitar may be a little too loud in your ears, and you just have to be okay with it. And the final thing I got wrong about pro guitar gigging is that there's 100 guitar players in your town that are better than you. And I don't care how good you are. I used to think like, well, I may not be the best in the whole city of Fort Worth, right? But I'm at least kind of up there. I'm definitely at least the best guitar player in my neighborhood. Come to find out, there is a much better guitar player, a Grammy-winning guitar player who lives in my neighborhood. And he's so much better than me. It's ridiculous. And I'm never going to be as good as him, no matter how much I practice. And that's not it. There's so many great guitar players just in my city. So I used to think before I started playing live, I'm like, I'm going to be the best. And it's like, man, you got to get over that. You're not going to be the best. And it's not a contest, right? Everybody just has to find, you just got to find the band and the performing situation that's great for you. That's a right fit for you and the artist you're playing with, in terms of personality, in terms of the kind of style that you're wanting to play. You gotta, when you see an awesome guitar player, just appreciate that there are so many skilled musicians out there, and we all push each other to be better. So when I finally got over my ego, I started having a lot more fun, just like appreciating incredible musicians instead of being jealous of them. So yeah, get ready to just be one in a sea of many amazing musicians. And so you guys, those are the 6 things I got wrong about pro gigging as a guitar player in whatever year this is. 2024, coming up on 2025. Despite all those things, I make it kind of sound like gigging is a horrible, terrible thing. Why would anyone want to do it? And the reality is, I love it. Even when everything goes wrong, I still love it. I love being on the road. I love setting up for the shows. Of course, playing the shows is what makes everything totally worth it. All we got to do is hit the road, go to this show, play the show, and do a great job. And as long as that happens, between teaching guitar and performing music, those are like the 2 greatest things I can think of. It's so much fun. So anyway, Let me know if you're out there gigging right now. What have you found? What surprised you about gigging? Did I miss anything? And then if you're getting ready to start gigging, let me know what you think. Does this sound kind of overwhelming? Does it sound crazy? It is a little overwhelming at first, but you learn to kind of settle in, and it's fun. So anyway, I hope you guys are having a great day, and I will see you in the next times.